Palantir Technologies is falling and we don't know where the bottom is in the near future. We're going to be talking about why and why this is critically important for PLTR with a lot of volatility ahead of us. Considering the $18 level of support has just been lost, we had that large gap, remember, that was created after the Q3 earnings were reported, and Palantir had an immense rally, setting a new 52-week year-to-date high. We are now going to be testing that gap, possibly if we don't see a reversal. And among the profit taking that we have seen with Palantir, we've seen this generally across many of the other AI stocks as people are starting to say, is the AI bubble starting to cool down, with some really interesting things happening within the market. So before we get too far, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now remember with Palantir, one of the most, I want to say, events or articles that really came out that started this whole profit taking and this domino effect where the bears are really starting to take over was the uncertainty of the future for that single army contract. We'll do a quick summary and a recap of that, but many of you guys that are interested in Palantir already know about this. We know that there's uncertainty from an analyst talking about this contract that, hey, it might only be renewed for 2 years and it might be at a far less value than what it once was due to other possible vendors and basically competition entering this data analytics space regarding artificial intelligence. With this, you have this cascade event with Palantir and this important level of support here at that $18, which was starting to be established after the Q3 earnings, has been lost. And you see even a gap being formulated right here. The problem with this from a technical analysis basis is you have a ton of trading volume coming in here, nearly another 100 million today, and we're still seeing these large slips. So what we're seeing is lots of selling pressure among Palantir stock. Look at the gap here that was created. Palantir jumped from $14 all the way to 17 with no trading being established within that time increment between those price levels. With that being said, Palantir is right now basically testing that critical level of support at the 17 right here, and if it falls beneath, we don't know where Palantir is going to land. What we do need to do is zoom out on Palantir and look at previous levels of support, and Palantir has traditionally liked trading between the 14s and the 16s, so this price target could definitely be in sight in the near future. And talking about that, and what we do see is the actual reversal in the options market in terms of options being traded, volatility, and also volume. And what I mean by that quickly, if we look here, expirations by the end of the week, we're seeing now 34,000 compared to 14,000 here at the $17 strike price in terms of the actual put volume. So we have put volumes that are starting to increase as people are starting to take a bet that Palantir is going to start falling in price, which could definitely happen. And for people that are sitting on the outside and they're very bullish, saying, hey, Data, why are you talking about bearish things? Hey, if people still have a bullish perspective, this is just a discount clearance sale for you guys if you think Palantir is still going to continue to grow in the long-term future. You could have had it at 21.85. Now you could possibly even get it at the 15s or 16s. So talking about that, no, I'm not just being incredibly bearish. I'm just talking about what's happening with Palantir stock. And with that, like I said, you have the bearish articles that are continuing to be released. And we've seen this throughout the week as we've had a few days in a row of red trading sessions. And still, they're pinpointing the same thing, that here, that William Blair here has warned about Palantir's upcoming contract renewal. We've had this single piece or the single statement that keeps being released over and over again, basically talking about how this 4-year, $458 million contract is set to expire really soon. Number one is, remember that Palantir stock is up over 100% on the year. It was up over 200% and now sits at 170%. So Palantir has still had some amazing gains year to date. And talking about that, people are saying that there is a pressure on Palantir, talking about the Army contract concerns, saying that they will provide the company with the 2-year contract and it will be less than 116 million in annual rate. Now, why you're seeing this uncertainty that's really starting to cascade across Palantir stock is because one of its highest criticism is that A, is at this high valuation, and B, it has its decelerated revenue growth rates. And these things are basically starting to fight against each other as one is going up and this revenue growth rate is coming down, and basically saying that, hey, there has to be a bubble that pops. So with that being said, you have people that are very uncertain about Palantir's future, and that could easily be taking profits as soon as they start to see a swing in the red. And on top of that, we have another bearish article talking about here as the co-founder from a filing has shown that they have sold the amount of shares that equate to about nearly $13 million in value. So of course, when you see insider selling, this can be for many different reasons, not always just bearish. Make sure you keep that to the point. But being released with a lot of these bearish articles on top of each other, these are just adding pieces to the puzzle. And what we see right here is profit taking that is continuing, like I said, to cascade across the market. So if you are heavily involved in some of these speculative stocks, or it is getting too emotional for you, then maybe you have too many eggs in one basket. And what we have seen in terms of the general markets is a red day across the markets, as we even have some stocks that are releasing really good actually news about AI, and we're still seeing some sell-off. So generally what we're seeing is a little bit of a correction. One thing to take into perspective is the November rally that we did have. Remember, Palantir had nearly a 30% launch in the matter of just a month. So a little bit of a correction here is not to be too concerned about, I think, in my own opinion, looking at this. And in terms of the bearish articles, these might still continue to be published throughout the rest of the week, talking about, hey, there's an underperform rating. We still have to talk about the bullish things for Palantir. It's got a #1 strong buy rating for the Zacks ranking, for example. Its earnings per share revisions continue to change in the bullish perspective. This really does show you the amount of emotion, and how emotion can really have a momentum change in the market, and how fear can really cause a cascade event. I think that we're seeing that with Palantir. And hey, maybe Palantir is going more towards its fair value price target, which a lot of people do predict to basically be around that 14.15. Morningstar gives it a fair value of 13. So the fact that Palantir is trading right here, maybe it's just coming down to more of a sustainable area at the average price target of 15.43. That could be entirely possible too. And like I said, if people are sitting here for the long term, looking out for the next decade in terms of Palantir, in terms of its revenue growth and how it'll continue to diversify its clientele through its AIP bootcamp, then these could be attractive prices. Remember yesterday's video, we talked about Palantir coming down to $5. That's one of the lowest price targets. I don't think this is going to happen, in my own opinion. A ton of bad things would have to happen to Palantir, and I think the general market for it to come down that far, but you never know with more of a speculative stock. However, with that being said, attractive prices for those that are, like I said, keeping a bullish perspective, and for people that are trying to buy put options and that are trying to profit on the downswing right now, then they possibly can, looking at the short term. Whatever your investment goal is, it's important that you do your own research. Of course, understand your risk assessment, and of course, not getting too carried away with the financial means that you had. I think that's really important that anybody can say across the board. And that's what we're doing here at Data Dispatch, is really taking a non-biased approach at these stocks, not just being always 100% bullish or 100% bearish, but just taking the data and collecting and dispatching it to you. Peace out. Take care. Let me know what do you guys think in the comments. What's going to happen the rest of the week? I think personally we could see coming down into the 15-16s before possibly a reversal. That's where I sit. But who knows? Things could be 100% different. Peace out.